One of the most exciting things about this moment is that all the way from the very top of Snowflake, everyone is excited about open source. Hi, I'm Russell Spitzer. I'm a software engineer at Snowflake, and I work on the Apache Iceberg project. I'm one of the Apache Iceberg PMCs, and I'm also a PPMC on the Apache Polaris project. I've always been really excited about Snowflake technology. It really shows what you can do with data at scale. I was so excited to hear that Snowflake was so dedicated to the Iceberg project that they were willing to hire a team to work on Apache Iceberg, to get involved with the community and make sure that not just being an excellent data platform was their mission, but also being able to be interoperable with this vast amount of data that we've been working on and enabling people to use in open source. Lineage being introduced into the Apache Iceberg project follows some of the main reasons I joined Snowflake, which is that Snowflake wants to bring a lot of the awesome things that are part of Snowflake into the wider open source community. And the best thing about working in open source is when we did that, we had a lot of other companies jump in and start helping out and making sure that this spec not only will provide Lineage for users of Apache Iceberg and Snowflake, but for users of all sorts of different engines. Adding Lineage to Apache Iceberg is challenging because you have to get a lot of different groups to agree on what that standard will be. Because the most important thing about working in an open source project is community agreement. And getting that agreement is not just a technical problem, but also a political problem, a person problem. You have to work with other people who might have different incentives than you. Luckily, the Apache Iceberg community is extremely supportive. As soon as I got here, I had multiple people telling me about different proposals they had, things they wanted to have happen in the Apache Iceberg community, and they really just didn't know what the first step to take was to make that happen. A lot of my job is helping those engineers who aren't used to working in open source software get their ideas into the open source project, explain to them how the process works, explain to them the technical restrictions that you have when you're working in open source that you don't have in a closed source project. Obviously, there's a lot of things you can do inside of a system like Snowflake that are very hard to do in an open standard where you have to maintain compatibility with a lot of other engines that might work in completely different ways. I think one of the coolest things that Snowflake has done outside of directly employing engineers to work on open source is they've also been huge sponsors of the Iceberg community in terms of events and meetups and all sorts of things like that. We have active community events now that are being hosted all over the world. And the coolest thing is that we had the Apache Iceberg Summit for 2025. This was the first in-person Apache Iceberg event, and Snowflake was one of the main sponsors and drivers of it. And I couldn't be more proud of the event we put on, because not only was Snowflake able to show off all of the work we've been contributing into the Apache Iceberg project, we were able to stand on stage with headliners from a lot of other huge companies and talk about how we were investing in this community publicly. I think it's something that you probably wouldn't have seen, 5 years ago. The most exciting thing is that Snowflake has this capability for its own format internally, but now it's bringing that capability to every Iceberg table that is in existence. So basically, you can get some of those same functionality, those same features that are based on this, like dynamic tables and things like that, from an open source Apache Iceberg table. It's basically a whole new pool of users who can take advantage of the cool things in Snowflake. For me, now is the best time to join Snowflake because I love open source, and now Snowflake is really showing that it also loves open source. We spend a lot of time talking with members from senior leadership about what we're doing in the open source community and what Snowflake should be doing next. I get to talk directly with Benoit, who's one of the founders of Snowflake. And it's really exciting to talk to someone who's done it all. Because whenever I have a new idea, whenever I have something new I want to pitch, he's probably done it once. He's probably already run into rough edges in that area, and he's always got amazing guidance. So it's amazing to work with founders like that who are so technically involved and literally have done everything that I plan on doing already, or at least have tried it at some point.